No bueno. What's going on, man? How we doing? Let me put this up, actually, over here. I've actually been practicing the guitar for like a week now, so I hope you like it. But, as you guys know, we're back with another video, guys. I know it's been 6 days. I've been busy out of my mind, trying to get a lot of stuff done. Haven't been too motivated to make a video in the last like week or so because, you know, I've been pretty stressed out, you know, because if you guys hadn't noticed, hotshot trucking is kind of stressful. So yeah, first off though, let's get to the intro and then we'll get right with the video. So guys, in this video I just want to talk about kind of a story real quick of something that ended up or just happened to us right now. Probably like, I don't know, it happened this morning, okay? And it put me on the edge of my seat for a good little number of minutes. And I was kind of stressed out of my mind for a quick second. But, you know, everything turned out to be all right. And I'm starting to realize that. Even though I stress, doesn't really change anything. What's going to happen is going to happen, right? Excuse me. Anyways, so Jared's in Salt Lake City on Friday. I book him a load of insulation panels, okay? Insulation panels, you don't know, they're usually not too big. It's probably like a 4x4, maybe like a 4x6, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a 4x4, what's the word I'm looking for? Pallet. That's what I'm looking for. So it's a 4x4 pallet. You know, it's insulation panels going from basically Salt Lake City to El Portal, California. Now, I've never been to El Portal, California, and I kind of rounded it out, and I was like, yeah, that's like pretty close to Yosemite. That's kind of cool, right? But, you know, I was like, oh, cool, it's going to put us in California. It's not too far from Modesto, not too far from Fresno. Okay, we can get something working there, you know. I'm not too worried about it. Load was paying pretty good. It was paying $1,500 on about 800 miles, so like $1.90 a mile, which is super dope, right? And I didn't ask, like, how tall the load was going to be, because I was like, it's not going to be worrisome. Insulation panels, I mean, they're going to be nothing, right? So Jared gets there, gets loaded, whatever. They double stack the insulation panel, so it ends up being like 8 feet tall. He's like loaded all the way back, and I'm like, okay, you know, it's not the best. You know, obviously I don't want a really tall load because it's going to catch more air, which is going to, or more wind, which is going to cause us to have worse fuel economy, right? So that was kind of, right off the bat, I was kind of like, crap, right? But it's only 800 miles. He's picking it up on Friday. He lives basically in Salt Lake, so he's going to be able to drop. He's going to be able to stay in his house and then drive and then drop off, right? So fast forward to Sunday night. Jared's in Modesto, California, because that's where his in-laws live. And he's about 2 hours from the drop-off point, right? It's from Modesto, California. So I call him like, hey, man, you know, what's the plan? He's like, actually, I'm going to try and get there tonight. And I'm like, okay. And like just looking at the road, you know, from my point of view on Keep Trucking, the app, I can see it's pretty windy, you know. But he's pretty light, you know. The wind's not bad. You know, I trust Jared enough to be able to get it up there. So he starts his ascent up there to good old El Portal, California. And he's going, you know, and I'm kind of watching him on the dashboard. You know, it's like 9 o'clock at night. And I'm like, you know, watching him, refreshing, seeing where he's at. Kind of stressing, you know. But, you know, just kind of, you know, trying to see what's popping. You know what I'm saying? And then he starts to lose signal. The dashboard loses signal. And then he's kind of going, you know, and I see him going. He's doing good, going pretty slow. And then he gives me a call. And he's like, hey, there's a sign here. I see the sign. The sign says no trucks over 45 feet. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, there's a truck here. It says no trucks over 45, or a sign here saying no trucks over 45 feet. And I'm like, crap. So I'm like, hey, just sleep there. He's like 11 miles from drop off. But I mean, it's super windy, so it's still like 30 minutes. I say, just sleep there, bro. Let's talk to people in the morning and go from there. So in the morning, which was today, I call the broker and I'm like, hey, man, my guy's right here, but there's a sign literally saying no trucks over 45 feet. What do we do? You know, so the broker's like, man, I don't know. I didn't know that, blah, blah. So then he gives me all the contacts for the drop or for the people, you know. And I call a couple of them. They're super cool. They're like, yeah, man, you got to talk to this guy. This guy's the guy who's like on site or whatever, you know, the one that can help you. So I call this guy and I'm talking to him. And he's like, yeah, man, you should have known that there's no trucks over 45 feet. You know, like that's pretty common knowledge. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, yeah, that should have been known. And he's like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, bro, I don't know what to do. That's why I'm talking to you. Like, you're the guy on site. You're like the problem solver. That's like your role right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, the broker didn't know 45 feet. So obviously I don't know 45 feet. And I really don't know how you're going to get this moved on a truck that's 45 feet or less with, you know, the amount of, you know, stuff we have on the trailer, right? The trailer itself, it was taking up 35 feet of space on our trailer. You know, I don't really know of any trailer plus truck combo that could take that and be under 45 feet. And so he's like, hey, he's like, well, you got to figure something out. And, you know, I'm like, okay, man, whatever. He's like, the most useless person I've ever, like, talked to in my life, you know, was this dude on the phone. And so I get off the phone with him. And after I talked to the broker, I kind of told Jared, I'm like, Jared, well, we kind of just need to make it up there, man. So I was like, put your, and it was early in the morning, so there's no other vehicles at all. I was like, just take it slow, put on your hazard lights, you know, make sure you're taking every corner as wide as possible. So after I talked to the guy, or the guy, right, he basically said, he's like, he basically told me, you can't do it. Like, you're not going to be able to make it. Don't do it, you know, whatever. And like, I already have bad service with Jared, so I already text Jared. I'm like, Jared, do not send it. No, it's not a good idea. And then like 5 minutes later, I get a call from Jared, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm already here. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, it really wasn't that bad. And I'm like, okay. So he's there. I'd let the broker know that he's on site for drop off. And then the broker already has other people going there. And I know they have 40-foot trailers, 35-foot trailers, because you basically need it for this load. And I'm like, you better let them know what's popping. You know, like they understand, you know, what's going to go down. And so the broker basically, you know, whatever, he does his thing. And then he calls me like an hour later, this guy. And he's like, so what's the plan? And I'm like, well, my guy's already there. And he's like, really? He's like, that was mighty ballsy of you. And he's like acting like I'm the broker and like I knew all of this. And and he's like, I'm like, yeah, man, like we didn't really know what to do, bro. Like my guy went without me. Like I kind of told him to go, but then I was going to tell him not to go, but he already went, you know, we made it. And he's like basically saying stuff. And I'm like, well, you got more trucks coming, so you guys better do something. And he's like, that's up to you guys. And I'm like, dude, you are like the literal, like most worthless person I've ever been on the phone with in my life. Like you have not given me one even like tiny bit of help. And I told him afterwards, I was like, hey man, it'd be much appreciated if somebody could like pilot my truck back down, you know, this like 11-mile stretch. He's like, no man, all my guys are super, super busy. We won't be able to help you. And I'm like, whatever, bro. Like I don't know who puts you in charge, dude, but it just like salted me so hard because like if you're gonna be in charge of something like this, you need to be a problem solver and not just like a problem provider. Like that's all you're doing is just like pushing everything off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it made me so mad. Anyways, besides the point. And so then, you know, Jared drops off and I can't see it on the Keep Trucking because he's like disconnected basically because there's really bad service out there. And he pops up on it and he's like deeper into Yosemite National Park. And I'm like, what's going on? And I can't really see him, but I'm just watching him drive and watching him go down. He's going down a road that's probably more windy than the road that he went up. But these guys were basically saying, told him to go that way instead of going this way. But long story short, he did make it out of Yosemite National Park in this circumstance that we got ourselves into. Guys, make sure you know where you're going. I didn't really think it was going to be that bad, and I definitely did not expect to see a sign that said no trucks over 45 feet. I don't know what they were smoking when they thought they could put 35 feet of freight on a trailer and then expect the whole setup to be 45 feet. But the broker had no idea what was going on, and then he never told us, and then we kind of just sent her. But it worked out for us, guys. But it's just another crazy story with brokers. So that's what I've been doing today. It's been a quality time, but I love you guys so much. I thank you guys for watching this video. You know, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We got good stuff coming all the time. I'm thinking my next content is going to be the best 3 apps to use for trucking. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the money side of things, and we got some other stuff coming out. But yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to the story, and I hope everything goes great with your guys' Hotshot trucking companies and everything's going good. But remember, you're going to be stressed out of your mind every now and then. You just got to learn to live with it. But yeah, love you guys. Talk to you later. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I want to give a huge thank you, though, to everybody who supports me on Patreon. Thank you guys for just supporting me in general. You guys are awesome. If you guys don't know, I do have a Patreon. What I do on Patreon is I don't really post much stuff on there, but if you sign up for it, you get my phone number. You can send me as many texts as you want about Hotshot. We can talk about Hotshot. I can answer all the questions you have. I can help you book your first load. So if you're about 3 months out from starting your business, this will be a great way for you to kind of check all the boxes and have somebody there to kind of guide you through the steps that a lot of people forget about. So if that's something that interests you, I'll put my Patreon below. Go ahead, check it out. Again, big thank you to everybody who's already a patron of that Patreon. And also, we can also have weekly phone calls. So that's always awesome. You get to hear my beautiful voice one-on-one. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you all have a great day, and we'll talk later.